Hey guys, it's me, Jiv, aka FURRIES, and you're recommended today for some apparent reasons. So, in today's video, well, this is a quick one, I'm going to talk about the top misconceptions about furries, aka the thing that most YouTubers feed off of. Well, what I mean by that is that people use these as reasons to hate furries or to why that's their agenda to hate. In my opinion, I see the misconceptions as something just to mostly laugh at because of how stupid and fucking bonkers backwards it is. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just how I see the misconceptions about furries, especially when you start joining or you start speaking to one. I feel like you start realizing that the misconceptions are most likely bullshit. But let's just get this quickly out of the way, because honestly, I'm gonna be here just ranting all day. So at number one, it's gonna be believing that the furry fandom is a fetish as a whole. Now, for me, this is at the start, I actually kind of thought that maybe, just maybe, that it is a fetish, and I don't have a problem with that. And I know that's like a very hot take, but I'm gonna be real. I don't see it as much as a problem, especially when there's paedophiles or zoophiles knocking about. I think there's worse things to be worrying about than someone who's attracted to a fucking carpet. But in my opinion, that's just how I see it. But with the believing it's a fetish thing, people actually started at one point, and probably still now, believe that furries are mostly based off or built off a fetish, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't have to explain this to why it's not, but hey, I don't mind explaining it, so I'm just gonna do a quick brief explanation. It's so wrong. I just don't know how to cope and say anything about it. It's kind of like saying that all Islam is like just a terrorist organization, which, let's be honest, is it really? And it's kind of like saying, oh, all Jews are terrorists. Like, are they? No. This is like the thing that I start to notice, is that people like make a big bubble around a community and just make it that entire thing. Like his entire personality is like, oh, for his like fetish people. Like, no, they're not. It's like, I don't know. I think it's a silly thing just to babble about, but at the same time, it's something that people actually believe, and it baffles me because how people call furries a fetish, and with hearing some of their reasons, I'm not gonna lie, I don't mean to bring down this community at all, but the anime community is just as bad then, just by them terminology. It's like their reasons from one person's reasons to why it's a fetish is mostly just from degeneracy. I hope I'm saying that right. Degeneracy, yeah, which is not fetish material at all, it is degeneracy, and that can follow into other communities and groups that just don't get talked about, I feel. Following that, and about degeneracy and fetish and all that stuff, let's bring on to another big misconception that I think we all know of. You know, zoophiles, furries are zoophiles, you know that one? Yeah, that one. This is one that I have actually named onto the, I won't say script, but on the list of furries equals zoo syndrome. And I know it sounds a bit, I won't say discriminatory, I think I'll say discriminatory to people who actually believe that, but I'm sorry, but it's like if people actually think that furries are zoophiles still to this day, then I'm not gonna lie, mate, you are quite deluded. Sorry, bro. It's like, I think it's kind of rude to say, especially towards someone like me, who, if you don't know, works with animals. So you're pretty much calling me an animal fucker because, you know, I have a hobby. And when you start realizing where that trickles down to, me working with animals, I think it kind of gives you a really shitty look, I feel. Especially when I'm like out here doing probably one of the best jobs, I feel. I don't mean to gloat, I'm sorry, but it's like that's how I kind of see it. It's kind of like you're just kind of trashing me. And I understand that people don't know that, but yeah, that's the truth. I work with animals, and just saying that and saying it to the entire majority of the group, and probably even people like me, which I have been called a zoophile before, which I have not done anything zoophile related, just because I'm a furry, mind you. And this was like a year ago, but either way, it's still something that I think I should just say. It's like people still have this belief, and it's insane. Like, I don't get how people can still believe like the zoophile thing. I think it's kind of dying down, thank God, but it's not something that people should acknowledge anymore. Even if it's just like a misconception, like what I'm doing, I feel like it should start to be more on a decline. on the misconceptions, but it's like, it's something that still gets brought up, and people actually still believe in their conspiracy tinfoil hat theories about furries, which is it's baffling. Like there's even like, I think there's like just some like theories out there, like furries being a secret society, which I think is kind of funny, but I think that was mostly a joke. Thank God. And for number three, which is actually one that started creeping up, I think early this year, at the end of last year, is people thinking furries identify as animals, which is crazy to me. Which is just, it's not true. Let's be honest, alright? I'm not a furrian, aka someone who identifies as an animal, and let's be honest, I don't think most furries are. Like, there is a, I guess we'd say a subgroup of furries that are furrians and furry as well, which I'm not going to trash on those. I don't even want to trash on furrians, to be honest with you. It's just that I kind of see furrians as to be kind of like on the furry scale of being hated, but people are getting furrians and furries mixed up. They have done this on the news as well, mind you, with the Utah. I'm pretty sure it was like the Utah school, and there were like a few parents and kids rioting or whatever. I won't say rioting, but like protesting about their like limiting dress code with like furry shit, which isn't furry shit, it is furrian shit. See what I did there? Funny. But yeah, it's like people like get these two mixed up, and it shouldn't be that hard. It's like one likes cartoony anthropomorphic animals, one identifies as one and jumps around. Like an all fours, mind you, jump around on all fours, mind you. Like that should just be enough to probably sickle and trickle the differences. Anyways, number four is the way others talk about it, which, oh my god, it is insane. Like people talk, I haven't really heard it, but I've like, I won't say heard because it's me reading the comments, but like comments and that. But I have like heard people talk about furries like it is the bubonic plague. I can't say the word. You know, they're talking about like it's the fucking plague or something. Like it's something to be ashamed of. Even like I feel like it's a bit. I won't say rude, but I would say disheartening, especially for when someone like me who's progressively, and I don't want to say this word because I know furries get so mad about it, but there's no other word to say it. There's no other word to say it. I would say coming out as like one kind of, I won't say make personality because that's not my fucking thing, but it's like I do want to walk around with, I don't know, a hoodie of an anthropomorphic animal maybe, or shit. Not even just like an anthropomorphic animal, but like something that looks pretty cool, but it's in that sort of, you know, sphere. You know what I mean? Like it's something that's like furry like, but it's pretty fucking cool to wear. It's not like those cheesy fucking shit shirts that are like, oh, I'm a furry, which is like, I don't know if those even exist. I've just heard of them like knocking about, which I think is insane if they do, which, you know, is mental. But it's like, I just want to just wear what I want without being judged, and I also just want to do what I want without being judged. It shouldn't be that hard of a want, I feel. People have like this hatred, and I still don't get where the hatred comes from, which to where these misconceptions outflow. Because this hatred towards the furry fandom is made these misconceptions, and I know there are zoophiles out there, I know there is messed up people out there in the furry fandom, and even in the internet in general, which doesn't get talked about, which I think is kind of hypocritical. Now, the final misconception I have is quite a. It's like. It's kind of like saying about the zoophiles, like, you know, they exist, but they're like frowned upon. I won't really say this one's more frowned upon. I think I would say it's getting more progressively either accepted or just being left alone, which I think is a good thing for some people who are interested in this thing. But it's YIF, aka people think YIF is instantly related to like furry porn, but no, it isn't. It can relate it to be the sexual desire of mersuiting, which, like I said, I'm not going to give my opinions on it at all because this is not my degree or partake, but it's like you do you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That's you. But people actually think that YIV is like a thing that all furries did. I don't know when this was. I can't really recall. I don't know if it's like a new thing or an old thing. I'm going to assume it's like an old thing. And either way, I have heard some people even will try and confirm this fact with how much porn there is on the furry media, which when you look at it biased sites like E621, obviously you're gonna find furry porn, you dumb fuck. Like, I'm sorry to be like that, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but there was some guy who did that, and he was like talking about all the users who use E621 and saying how, oh my god, all of them are furries, when no, they're not, it's just silly bugger, it's silly boy, because the thing is, people actually like dived into E621 and like called it out to be YIF, and then people, I feel like this is when it started, when people started like realizing there was porn of furries and started thinking that oh, furries did YIF, which is fair play, and especially with people saying, oh well, actually there's like a million active users on fucking E621, when in reality that million over could possibly be either alt accounts or people with other desires or hobbies, or probably just got it for the laugh. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, it ain't the case. Like you can't possibly think that furries this is all furries, because I'm gonna be real, and I'm sorry to be this guy, but there has been other people who I would say like they have been interacting with the community definitely, but it ain't like they are a big furry fan. They just got it because they have a massive porn addiction, which I'm not gonna say is a good thing. I'm gonna say it's a bit of a concerning thing, but yeah, I know someone did that, and need to remind you they were not a furry at all. It's kind of just something that I just want to quickly add, is to how people can still be attracted to, yeah, 8621, and like, shit on that fucking thing, you know, furry porn. But that doesn't mean they're instantly a furry. Like, this is like something that I just want to quickly add, because people don't think about this enough, but it's like, you know, there are people who find the same thing as us furries kind of attractive, or us in other bubbles attractive, because let's be honest, the furry community is just so diverse, you can't even call it a community as much, other than, you know, talking about it as a whole in the aspect of what it actually is, you know what I mean? Instead of like saying, oh, all furries do EF, when in reality that isn't the case, because there's people like me, and there's also other people out there who don't do EF. And that's mostly because either A, they've got a partner, or B, they just haven't done it, or C, they're trying to quit. It's like, you can't possibly start thinking that all furries do YIF in the physical or the, you know, online way. You can't really think that, because that's just not the case. There's some indefinite places and people who just don't do that shit. And that's just that. I mean, I don't know what else to really add, other than it's silly, but I want to just talk about it the most because people actually coordinate YIF back into the zoo file, furry equals zoo file syndrome, because of the demographic of what the character is, aka an anthropomorphic animal, not animal, anthropomorphic. There's a reason behind that, and why I say that, because people actually start thinking that YIF is zoophilia porn, which that is something that I could dive into and I could talk about all day and see how that is so fucking wrong, especially from someone who spoke to another furry who has witnessed a zoophile watch zoophilia porn. And need to remind you, it is not YIF, not in the slightest. I'm not saying that all zoophiles don't wank off to YIF, because obviously there's going to be some disgusting fucking freaks out there. But my point is that it shouldn't be taken into that account. Anyway, I'm gonna just quickly end the video here, and this is another long video again. Great. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and also I hope you guys, you know, support my channel, because it helps. Helps out a lot. I can get paid soon. Yippee.